Hey guys, welcome back to this lecture, Enable MSK Monitoring. In this lecture, we will learn how we can enable the MSK Monitoring in Prometheus. And the people who are not aware of what is MSK, then it is a managed service from AWS side for Kafka clusters. And this Kafka cluster is basically used to process your streaming data. Okay, so it takes the data from one source and then processes the data, and then you can grab the data from that. Okay, so we will enable the monitoring for our MSK services, and we will see what and all metrics we get in the Prometheus. So let us quickly jump onto the demo now. So guys, the very first thing that we need for this is basically the MSK cluster. So let us quickly open it, and I have already created one MSK cluster to perform this demo. So this is my cluster here. So guys, in every cluster we do have the number of brokers, okay, which we configure when we create the cluster. So in my case, we do have 3 brokers here, which are nothing but the nodes, okay, and you can get the endpoint for these brokers over here. So these are the 3 brokers, one in each subnet. Okay, now the very first thing needed to enable the monitoring for these brokers, basically what we need is we need to enable the JMX and node endpoints for these brokers. Okay, so your MSK service, which is a managed service, basically provides you the flexibility to enable the monitoring, and they gives you the endpoint to scrap the JMX and node monitoring for these brokers. So let us quickly do this. So let us go inside the monitoring section here. In the monitoring metrics, you will enable it, and here you see open monitoring with Prometheus. So they enables you, or they gives you the capability to open the monitoring for your brokers based on node and JMX. Okay, so these 2 components are already implemented in the MSK service. You can just enable them, and as soon as you enable them, you get 2 endpoints for each broker. One is for JMX and the other is for node. JMX is nothing but your Java metrics, okay, because this is a Java process that is running. So let us select it and save the changes. So let it save. So guys, now the next thing what we will do, we will change the Prometheus configuration file, and we will configure the endpoints so that Prometheus can scrap the metric from these endpoints. Okay, so let us first quickly go to properties here again. Okay, let it update. So meanwhile it is updating, let us do one thing. Now, because my Prometheus service will try to read the data from MSK, okay, so it should have the permissions accordingly. So let us go to our Prometheus or the task role. In the task role, we will add a permission here to read the data from, or to read the MSK. So let us add a new policy here. Let us select for MSK, and here I'll give this read only access so that it can find these script endpoints and can get the data from there. Okay, now let's see if the endpoints are enabled here. Let us refresh it. It is updating currently, so let us wait for the time being. Okay guys, so the cluster is active now, and now let us go to monitoring section here again. Okay, this is enabled. That's great. Let us edit it back, and let me show you one thing here. Okay guys, so these exporters are enabled now. So let us check at which port they basically expose the metrics. So here I have opened the documentation from AWS, and here you can see Amazon MSK uses port 11001 for JMX exporter and port 11002 for node exporter. So these are the ports, and endpoint we already have for the brokers. So that makes the endpoint from where we will scrap the metric for our node and JMX. So let us quickly check that first before actually implementing it in Prometheus. So let us go to inside our server. Let's try to telnet the endpoint. Okay, so now because we are in the same VPC, so I should be able to telnet on this endpoint and the port from my ECS instance, and the port number is 11001. Okay, it is not able to. Let us go to our Amazon MSK here, and now let us check the security group. So here in this security group, we need to enable our ECS instance at those 2 ports so that I can reach to that server. Okay, so let us copy the security group attached to this instance. Let us create two rules here, or you can create single one as well, 11001 hyphen 11002, and in the source I'll give the security group name. Okay, now that I have attached it here, so let me try again. Okay, so I'm able to connect to this now, and now it's time we check for the metrics endpoint if we are actually getting the metrics at that endpoint. Now, okay, so I can see all the metrics related to Kafka. Okay, so these are the broken node related and node related JMX related metrics at 11001 port, and at 11002 port we will get the node related metrics. That is the node where the brokers are running. Let us check that as well. Okay, so you will be able to see process, node file system, node CPU, and all. Okay, so from AWS side we are done. Now it's time we update our Prometheus configuration and we see whether our Prometheus service takes that into the account or not. So let us quickly go inside our ECS volume, and then we'll update the configuration to have the changes related to MSK. Okay, so we'll go inside where lib ECS volumes and then the volume name. Okay, let me just give the complete path of prometheus.yml. So here we will add a new job for our MSK, and we will then check in the Prometheus console whether the metrics are coming or not. So guys, here in the scrap config, I'll tell you one new way here now, because till now we were using this static config, and now I want you to use the file-based service discovery for the scrapping targets. Okay, so for this, what we will do, we will use the file SD config here rather than static config. So I'll quickly okay, job underscore name, let us give any name to it, let's say MSK job. In the static configs, now in place of static configs, what we can do, we'll pass file sd config. Okay, and now inside this, what we'll have to do, we will give the path of the file, okay, which it will be reading to get the scraping targets. So here I'll pass the, let's say I'll create a file with the name msk file sd.yml. So if you remember this file-based service discovery from the section 9 where we were learning about service discovery mechanism, so this was one of the mechanisms with which you can implement the different service discovery. Okay, so you can use your in-house systems or any kind of system which can generate a YAML file, and with the scraping target in it, then you can read that file in the Prometheus service and you can get the scraping endpoint from there. So that's the same mechanism we are using here, so as to make you familiar with that as well. Okay, and I'll say okay, honor labels, and I'll set it true. Now I'll save it. Now guys, it's time we create a file here with the endpoints that we already have in our MSK. Okay, so let me create the file here quickly, and in the content, let me bring up the content here quickly. Okay, so here is the my content. So here guys, if you remember, if you see in the targets, what I have given all the endpoints for our brokers. Okay, we have three brokers, and for every broker we have 2 ports where JMX and node related metrics are exposed. So 11001, 11002, you'll be able to see 2 entries for each broker. Okay, so I'll save it here, and now my Prometheus service is supposed to read this file to get the scraping endpoint for my MSK. Okay, so now let us restart our service and let's see if it is able to scrap the target. So I'll stop this task and I'll let the service create new task for me, which will read the latest configuration. So let the task come up now. Okay, so it is showing here. Now let us click on it and let's see all the services are up and running. Okay, I can see Prometheus is up and running. Now let us quickly go to the Prometheus console and let us go to the targets here, and now let's see if we are seeing the new target or not. Okay, I'm not seeing the new target yet. Let me go to configuration. Let's see if it is having the new configuration. Okay, I can see the configuration is already there. Okay, let us go back to targets. It's not coming up here. Let us quickly go inside the logs and let's see if we are able to find anything. So let us check the Prometheus logs from here. And in the latest log, I don't see any error here. So either it should show some exception here while reading that file, okay, MSK SD config file, or if it is not, then the target should come up over there. So let us wait. Okay, so no errors are there still. So let us go to our console, not the console, the ECS instance. Let's see if we are missing anything there. So we have created the file. Okay. So guys, what we have done, we have created this file, but we have created it in the wrong path. Okay, so let us do one thing. Let us quickly copy this file inside our where lib ECS volumes and then the volume ID. Okay, the latest one is like this EC. We need to copy it there, and now we again need to restart our ECS task. So what we have done in the configuration, we have given the path as it like inside the EFS mount target, but in actual we have created the file in the home directory of root, right? So it was not able to detect it. So let me refresh it once if it auto picks it, or we will restart the container then. Okay, so it is able to see it here. Okay, so all the endpoints are up and working now, guys. Now let us quickly go to the visualization and let's see if we are getting any metric for this. So let us check with the Kafka string. Okay, that's great. So we are getting the metrics, we are getting the data. Here is my graph. Okay, so at this point it started the metric coming. Okay, so we can see now the data is coming over here. So our integration is successful, guys. This was about the MSK integration or MSK monitoring with Prometheus. And the same way, if you are using the old Apache Kafka cluster, you can also use the client libraries to instrument your Kafka cluster, and then you can monitor them in the Prometheus. So guys, this was about this lecture. In the next lecture, we will take a step forward and we will learn more about it. So I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.